Let's go to the co-main event, Gogue, of Showtime's broadcast last night. And I know it's talking about a fighter being held by the hand of his father. Rolando Romero gets the shocking and unpopular UD12 over Robert Garcia's fighter, Jackson Marinez. Gogue, did you get a chance to see this? And were you shocked by the decision last night?
Actually, Joe, I wanted to see Rolly because I never seen him fight before. And to me, he lost the fight. The other guy, the guy got hit with a couple of those big right hands, but he handled it good. And, he kept his cool. And, I thought he did enough to out-hustle him to win the fight. But, I couldn't believe the decision. I was totally shocked and everything. But, boxing, that's why, Joe, what do you call it? Right now, my attitude is I don't even like watching a lot of fights out there because the multitude of problems boxing has that they never correct. And one of them is bad judging.
Yeah, that was pretty abysmal, Gogue. In my opinion,
he can't fight, Joe. He can't fight. Rolly can't fight. Okay, I was saying that last night on Twitter.
Well, tell us how you really feel, Gogue.
Yeah, I wrote on Twitter last night after the first couple rounds. I go, first time watching Rolly. My impression, he can't fight. That's what I said on Twitter. He needs to learn how to fight. The guy has no skills, Joe. He just tries to, what do you call it? Take you out with one punch at a time and everything. He has no boxing IQ. He doesn't know how to. He doesn't have the, the basic fundamentals like how to set up your attack with the jab. That's number one. Okay, that's basic fundamental. That's the basic fundamental number one. Number one is your footwork and balance. Knowing how to move around in that ring. Number two, getting your jab established. Okay, getting your feints established. Okay, once you do that, then everything follows, your combinations. He don't even know how to do that, Joe. All he tries to do is just kick back, counter you with that, that right hand and throw one punch at a time. And every time he, what do you call it, Joe? He throws a punch. He yells in there like somebody's putting a foot up his ass. Okay, every time he throws like somebody's got a boot up his ass. You know what I mean? He's raw, green. He's raw, green, and one-dimensional. He don't know how to fight, Joe. And, he was looking good, impressing everybody with all them quick knockouts he was getting. Anybody looks good, Joe, when you're fighting lower-level competition and you're knocking them out, okay? It's that perception. But when you got a guy that can fight back and takes your best punch, then we'll find out what you're made of, what skills you got.
Well, I tell you what, that one-dimensional green as molasses fighter just became, Gogue, the interim WBA Lightweight title holder with scorecards of 116-112 by Glenn Feldman, 118-110 or 10 rounds to 2 by Frank Lombardi, and 115-113 by Don Trella. I was in shock, Gogue. I thought for sure when they announced unanimous decision, I thought for sure that Jackson Marinez had won the fight. Because I scored the fight 8 rounds to 4 on my unofficial scorecard.
You know what? What I was shocked, Joe, when they put that belt around him, I said, "Oh my God, he won a belt." That's what I was shocked. This fight was actually for a bullshit belt. It was that bad. That's what I was shocked. I'm like, "Oh my God, he's got a belt around him." Now he's gonna go walking around.
After
he's
only
gonna go walking around
fight,
like Mario Barrios. I'm a world champion. Fuck out of here, man, with that bullshit. That's fucking disrespectful to boxing. Okay, nothing against the kids because they win that shit. Okay, and the WBA, they tell you that. Oh, you win this belt, you're a world champion. No. You can't have 4 world champions in one division. You only can have one. And when they create the regular champion, the gold champion, the what do you call it? The super champion, and so on. You lose credibility. Okay, you lose credibility to the public and everything, man. So, I find it insulting, man, when people tell me, "Oh, he's the world champion." I go, I ain't gonna mention his name. Somebody that already told me this guy he's a world champion. I'm like, fuck out of here with that shit. He's an interim world champion. What the fuck does that mean? An interim? Okay. All right. It means shit? Okay. It means shit. It means nothing, man. Joe, I came from a different era in boxing. When you won the title back then, okay, it meant something. It was sacred. It was inspiring. It was, what do you call it? Uplifting. You know what I mean? Oh, you did something amazing. You became world champion.
Captured the imagination of the fight of the fans. Yep.
Yeah, it was all inspiring. You know, it was that. You know what I mean? It was like, whoa, man, he's world champion. I remember that, man. I remember that. Now it's fucking a joke. They diluted the value, the meaning of world champion, just like the U.S. Central Reserve printing money like crazy, devaluing the U.S. dollar. You know what I mean? That's what's going on with boxing right now. They're devaluing what these world titles really mean. It's a fucking joke. And right now the only two are doing that is the BC and the WBA. The WBO Paco ain't doing that shit, or the IBF. It's old school. They don't do that shit. But the BA, the BC, they're doing that shit. But here's the thing, man. Well, who's letting them get away with it? The fucking promoters and these networks that are letting them get away with it. Okay.
That's right. And here's the theory behind it, right? Because I remember speaking with Daryl Peoples of the IBF, and he said, well, one of the reasons why they do it in theory, and he didn't agree with it either, but he said one of the reasons why the WBA and WBC claim that they do it is to give younger fighters greater recognition and to get them on network TV. You hit the nail right on the head. Networks want to see title fights. But Daryl also told me, well, the reality of it is, though, these guys want to tax as many fighters as they possibly can to line their own selfish pockets. They want to get that 3% from as many fighters as they want, and they're just posing behind the idea that they're doing the best thing for the young fighters to try and get them recognition.
Get the fuck out of here, man, with that bullshit, man. They ruined the sport by doing that, Joe. You ruined the sport, okay? They got number one, they got too many fucking sanctioning bodies as it is, 4 of them. Jesus. You know what I mean? And then they dilute the sport even more by creating these champions in each weight division. Man, like I said, Joe, I've lost a lot of interest for boxing. I don't even like watching it no more unless really a really intriguing fight coming up. I don't even like watching these young prospects coming up. To me, a lot of them can't fight. You know what I mean? And number 2, these title fights are a joke, man. No, this is for the 126-pound WBA championship. I'm like, this is a fucking regular title. Oh, I'll give you an example. Josh Franco, he scored a spectacular win over Maloney. And
from San Antonio.
Was it a regular or interim champion? I don't know, Joe. I can't remember.
It's all the same.
Everybody knows who the top dog is, and that's Inoue, the Japanese guy. It ain't Franco, but they're calling him a fucking world champion, okay? Because they gave him that belt. That's disrespectful to the sport. That's disrespectful. Calling him a world champion, but the real champion, everybody knows who he is. That Inoue from Japan. That's
right.
Okay, that's just another example. Man, I'm just sick, man. Like I said, Joe, I'm sick of this shit. Okay, I'm sick of boxing.
Well,
I don't even like I said, it turns me off. I don't even like watching a lot of the fights. I don't.